Namaste, angels of the weekly love reading for the period of tomorrow, Sunday, November 18th through Saturday, November 24th. I am going to begin with the opening message this week, not from my love oracle, but from my Isis oracle instead, because the King Osiris birthday falls within the period of this week, November 19th. So I'm going to go over that too. Beginning with Rising Sun, which is a card that's kind of like death, which will be representative of the sign of Scorpio. But also like the Nine of Wands and perseverance, and maybe a little bit of Ten of Swords thrown in there too, and like the end of a difficult time and betrayal, and the Ace of Swords as well. Triumph after that difficult time, like, you know, winning out because you did persevere, because you did stick to it even when you felt like stopping and, you know, not going any further. And so now you have like completely transitioned through, there goes the death, and about to have a new beginning. That's what the Rising Sun card is all about. The Divine Solar Child Reborn. And opening to High Priestess, mysteries revealed in the eyes of Isis. Rising Sun, Divine Guardian, protection of the winged mother. Divine Guardian, and one more. Pillar of Light, descent of the star of Isis. Divine Guardian. Overall energy is the goddess of 10,000 names, who is absolutely who Isis is. Endless emanations of the priestess. Not only her actual incarnated form and vibration, but all of the other beings who are directly connected to her. Not that we're not all connected. We absolutely are, but sort of replications of herself, lower vibrations of herself over and over and over again. In addition to the fact that she herself answered to many, many names. All right, so our card is the Lunar Queen, she of the celestial crescent. I guess this is coming up because of the full moon in Gemini. Here she is showing off her Gemini stuff, her Gemini wares with the big full moon behind her. All right, let's read about this. I won't read it all, but I'm going to pick a few parts to read. The Lunar Queen, she of the celestial crescent. And I had I may have manifested out, to be honest with you guys, because I was thinking about in that moment as I was like shuffling and stuff, the full moon in Gemini and the fact that it's going to be sitting like smack dab in the middle of the Pleiades. I don't know why that was in my mind at the time, but I also thought about Isis's star, Sirius, in connection to that. All right, so anyway, there is deep feminine wisdom that recognizes the importance of cycles of rest and replenishment at essential balancing to our actions of power and demonstration. You are asked to allow this replenishment for yourself now, trusting that you're in a cycle of creation that is about to shift into a new phase. Release and enjoy the process without having to control or force it. So this sounds kind of like the rebirth that I just talked about with the Rising Sun, right? The end of a difficult situation. Now we're entering this new phase, sort of like the energy of the Fool, which is Major Arcana card 0 in the tarot. And the Gemini full moon will be 0 degrees Gemini. The celestial crescent is the moon in her changing form. This oracle comes to you at a time when you're shifting from one phase in your spiritual and creative journey into a new phase. This is a time to pay deep attention to the messages of your body and to allow them to guide you. Do you need to balance your activity with more rest? Do you need to be actively creating, but from a more relaxed and allowing rather than demanding or forceful mental state? Or is it time for you to spring into action once more? Has the time come to take a step forward? Pay attention to any other card that you draw with the Lunar Queen. So we had the Rising Sun, I guess. To more fully understand which phase is most appropriate for you now. So I think it's clear that our message is about death and rebirth. All right. The end of one circumstance, situation, period in our lives, chapter, and the beginning of a brand new one. Fresh start. Now I'm going to do the spread from the perspective of the masculine, beginning with the Princess of Cups or the Page of Cups. I'm using my Lover's Path Tarot for this portion. That is by, where's the box? Chris Waldher, Waldherr. And I was in the mood to read reversals. Opening to the transformation. This is death. Again, Major Arcana card 13. This card, Persephone and Pluto are pictured on it. Does represent the sign of Scorpio, as may the Page of Cups. It might be a younger Scorpio, can also, of course, can also be a Cancer, Pisces, or, you know, anyone of any trait likened to these, anyone of any zodiac likened to these traits or attributes, or perhaps making some sort of offer of love, sending an emotional message, making a phone call, you know, to somebody with whom they have an emotional connection, sending a text, an email, whatever. Transformation. And the 8 of Coins. Reaping what we've sown. Put the work in, you get what the work produces out of it. Transformation. And the 9 of Staves. This is what the card I was talking about perseverance. Keep continuing to push forward, even when you feel tired, so that you can complete that chapter and begin a new one. Here, opposite death. 9 of Staves, and lastly, the 10 of Staves in reverse, so the end of that, but also another 10 upright, and this is the Wheel of Fortune, with Danae and Zeus pictured on this card. Wheel of Fortune upright, very positive, of course, means that, like, where you've had something sucked, something was stagnant, something just was not going your way. It's going to be a change, a complete reversal of fortune, as they say. So it was bad. It's going to be good now. This card is connected to the planet Jupiter, ruler of the sign of Sagittarius, which the sun enters this week, leaves Scorpio and goes into Sagittarius. Mercury is also there, retrograde. The wheel and Jupiter also connected actually to the fixed signs. So that would include Scorpio, also Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus, where the Pleiades is. Nine of Staves. And it's the 7 of Staves upright. So where you've made any decisions or you feel your beliefs, or again, your decisions, any decisions you've made for yourself in your life, you feel that's being challenged, then you're going to need to decide whether or not you want to fight back like this gentleman, because you do have it in you to do it, or walk away. And, you're going to choose your battles and choose them wisely. It'll be up to you completely. Overall energy is death in reverse. So again, this is how it looks when it's upright. It does represent the sign of Scorpio, perhaps another water sign, but most specifically Scorpio, Major Arcana card 13. For those who are single, looking for love maybe, or waiting for it to come by, or living your life while, as you, in hopes that it'll come by while you're not thinking about it, not focused on it, whatever. You might need to change something about yourself or how you perceive yourself. Maybe an increase in esteem or, physicality. You want to start going to the gym or whatever. That will help you to better the way you feel about yourself. Anything that there is like that. Maybe you feel you're too thin. You want to gain some weight. Put some focus into that. I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm not, something. about the way that you view yourself has to be corrected or, bettered, improved, so that what you put out to others is also better received. Those of us that are already in relationships, not necessarily the divine union, that can be one thing, and then maybe we have another relationship, all these people with third parties and stuff like that, for example. You could be, there could be a whole relationship, like throw the whole thing away, or an aspect of a relationship onto which we're, clinging, maybe because we don't want to be alone, or because of the comfort that it provides. It's cheaper to keep her, as they say, or just easier to stay even though I'm miserable. Because what would the neighbors think and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have to get over that and allow for transformation. And until you do, you're just going to continue to repeat this pattern and cycle and feel this kind of energy. Those of you who refuse to allow for movement. I guess that's all I want to say about this for now. So the divine feminine, the masculine as it relates to the feminine, himself, and the union as a whole. Overall, I do want to mention that I think this came up last week. I'm pretty sure. Death in reverse isn't as strong, impactful as death upright. Like the blow is lessened. So let's say you are in a relationship and you don't want to break up. You're hoping that's not, you won't necessarily, but there's something of which you guys have to let go, or one person has to let go because they're clinging on to it. And that aspect of the relationship, or that direction, or that idea in your mind of how you wanted the relationship to be it's dead. It's not going to happen. And so you have to let go of it. And so that what can be will be. What the masculine would have the feminine do toward the union, well, he himself is willing to, what the universe would have the two do, but they have to affirm to it. And then, they'll be given full support and the outcome. I'm hearing in the background, may have meaning for some or all. When will I see you again? The song. Perhaps it's toward people who just met, like fresh love, new love, and giddy about like that honeymoon phase. When will I see you again? Or maybe separation. Anyway, the divine feminine this week. 2 of arrows in reverse. She might be ready to take action. Because when the 2 of arrows is upright, it usually means we have to make some sort of decision. And we typically not. Like we're not moving on the decision when we're sort of just stagnant. The 2 of arrows in reverse could finally be moving past a period of being stuck and in a way like, what should I do? What's my next move? Also, that came up last week. I said don't have yourself like out there too much, like coming off desperate, because like people can sort of smell desperation, right away. I think I said it gives off funky pheromones or something, right? Like when we appear desperate for love. So that may be something we want to be mindful of and watch for, particularly those who are single and maybe again looking for love or out there. So that love may find them. And I guess maybe not as positive, although in general, as it relates to love, the 2 of arrows in reverse is what they would call a good omen. You could be moving into like less difficult times, sort of like all the other cards we've seen so far have indicated. But the more negative may be, and it doesn't have to even be negative, but what I was going to say is the more negative may be that the decision that we made is one where we left our emotions out of it. So as it relates to love, that, may or may not be a good thing. And or we're not like at peace with the decision necessarily. You know, those are other things that are coming out. All right. The masculine as it relates to the feminine. I hope everything's not in reverse again this week. I jinxed myself last week saying I was in the mood to read reversals. All right. The masculine as it relates to the feminine. Here we go. Yep. The Five of Cups. But I actually like the Five of Cups in reverse more than I like the Five of Cups upright. Like, let these cups of self-doubt and pessimism and, oh, woe is me, go ahead and spill out. And this could mean that the masculine is strengthened this week. And now, because he's in reverse, although the feminine's back would be to him, because she's not sure about what she wants to do, he's facing her. If he was upright, his back would be turned. The masculine as it relates to himself this week, the Nine of Staves upright. I like this. Okay. Ready to keep going, even though, at times he's felt down and out. He knows he's still got it in him to power forward. I like where this is going now. I was a little concerned over here. I don't know if you guys could tell. The masculine with regard to the union as a whole. The Queen of Arrows upright. I like this because it's like the collective masculine energy of the Scorpion King, having his mind on his queen. Venus, the Queen of Arrows, upright. So she's also in a good state or frame of mind right now, at least the masculine feels so as it relates to their union. Because if she was you don't want to see the Queen of Arrows in reverse. That's ugly. There could be, I guess, the more negative or potentially more negative aspect of this one. There could be a mother. So since this is the masculine's perspective, perhaps his mother, whether she means to or not, who is putting her hand in the love relationship. There's some way that she's involved. That could apply to some. And as far as the Queen of Swords or Arrows herself, the only thing we may want to be concerned about, since he has it in this placement, representing the whole union, I'm not really worried about this possibility. But one thing the Queen of Arrows upright can be about is the need to watch that you're not overbearing, too forceful. What's that saying? Not you can lead a horse to water, can't make him drink. Not that one. Although that would apply to a Queen of Arrows, right? The water bearer, Aquarius. Can lead you, can't force people to do stuff. I was thinking about that earlier, so maybe that's why it's still in my head. You catch more flies with honey, so rather than trying to push people into things that they don't necessarily want to do, allowing them to decide for themselves. So that's the only potential negative aspect of that card as it relates to love and union. Overall, the Hermit in this deck is called Contemplation in reverse. I like the Hermit in reverse. So I like the Hermit pretty much, period. I don't dislike the Hermit as it relates to love. And I like the Hermit in reverse because it's sort of like somebody who's made up their mind and knows what they want. Like they've had their revelation, they've had their enlightenment, they've come to that aha moment and, decided they're ready. And that may be why the Cups are in reverse too for the masculine. Because he's figured it out now. And so now there's no need for, these cups of emotion, especially the negative emotion that they were containing. Right? So let that spill out because we're wiser now. When you know better, you do better. It's kind of like what the Hermit says. The Hermit represents the sign of Virgo, by the way. What the masculine would have the feminine do toward the union this week, it is the Princess of Arrows in reverse. The Princess of Arrows in reverse as it relates to love, what he would have her do this week. This one's a little tricky. Actually, I guess it's not. It's probably connected to Mercury retrograde. I'll tell you why I was saying that it was probably that it was a little bit tricky. It's sort of like a watch what you say kind of card, but not in a disciplinary way. It's like mean what you say what you mean, which is actually very important right now with Mercury retrograde, and particularly with its given its placement of Sagittarius. So that could be actually what the masculine means. I guess that is what he means. Mean what you say and say what you mean, feminine. Like, don't beat around the bush. And choose your words. Choose your words. Don't, because we get sometimes emotional. Maybe we need to let this, use this energy too. We get sometimes overly emotional. And that might be why he's feeling this in connection to us, right? The masculine as it relates to the feminine is what this placement is. It probably goes hand in hand with this one. I wanted her to not be so, reactionary and perhaps dramatic, and instead be more more to the point and more and deeper too. Not so superficial. Not so superficial. And for those, again, who are single, who meet somebody, they may come off like those people that how you say they talk a good game, may come off like that, and it's probably just like nervousness, like wanting to impress you because they really like you, and maybe be as a result like putting their foot in their mouth or coming off a little bit obnoxious, which is what I say about what I tend to say about the Five of Cups. That for me, the energy of the Five of Cups is one of, being really obnoxious, because you're not appreciating what you have. So this person you meet, feminine, for those of you to whom that applies, he may come off like that. Just give him a chance, because he doesn't mean it. It's like nervousness. Look at all these butterflies on this card. And it's the Princess of Arrows. So it with this red banner, and there's a red heart-shaped arrowhead. So it's like Cupid and the Archer and that Sagittarius energy. This card is super Mercury and Sagittarius. So anyway, the Page of Arrows does for me represent the sign of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, as is Virgo. And with these butterflies, it's can bring in the energy of, again, transformation, change, and travel too, and perhaps movement backwards to look at some things from the past, like retrograde. But the masculine himself is willing to do, contribute, surrender, whatever, toward the union this week. Six of Cups in reverse. I don't know why it's in reverse. Upright, I'd like it more upright, if I could be honest with you. Well, okay. I'm hearing other stuff like, oh, don't be so hasty. Okay, Six of Cups upright is how it looks like this. And we know that it can be absolutely a soulmate card. It is about revisiting too, and connected to retrograde, especially Mercury retrograde. We see the Six of Cups a lot. And we see exes and people that we haven't spoken to, old friends and stuff, come back to our life a lot. So he can definitely be willing to do that. There could be some people from his past that this is in reverse that he's also willing to let go of right now, that maybe he hadn't been before. And then, you know what? Yeah, I am being a little hasty, because that could be connected to this. When he was worried about the other three cups, instead of paying attention to the two cups, which is where his union is, and he was worried about what's going on with these, he is no more. He's no more. This is a similar thing. Like, I'm done with that. Like, I know where my focus is now, and, on what I have to work and keep moving ahead toward. I'm here like busting his balls, and I'm being very Gemini, like rushing to reason. What the universe would have the two do. So this isn't the masculine. This is the universe. That it will 100% support us in doing if we first affirm to the King of Staves in reverse. Well, King of Staves, first and foremost, is quite possibly a person in your life. A direct fire sign, perhaps too. Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. I'm getting drawn into the card because I noticed that there's two. It's pointing out, like screaming out to me that there's two birds here in the air. This is like another two of air, how it's coming across here. Only one staves. This is a person's individual like quest, so to speak. This is the universe speaking sort of about like the same sort of energy as the Two of Arrows. And what it will help us to do is to pursue our passions without consideration for emotion and things like to get in the way. So this is, and it's sitting here over this Queen of Arrows. So maybe like where somebody's mother, for example, is trying to get in the way without consideration for her. No offense, Mom. It's my mother's birthday today, the day I'm doing this, preparing this reading. So, no offense, Mom, but like nobody cares what you have to say, basically. Without even consideration for her, this is helping us to pursue our passions. And a lot of us do need help with that. Like how can I move forward? I feel stuck because, this family member feels this way and this family member feels that way. And I can't leave this one, and I couldn't, I can't break up with that one because we're connected in this other way too. And so how do I get out of it? Because I'm miserable. Call upon the universe. It will help you with that this week. It will help you with that this week. And that goes for each person sort of separately, more so than as a unit. Your partner actually can also, speaking of decision and Two of Arrow, I'm getting pulled back into it, need some time to decide a little bit more definitively what they want out of the relationship. But the King of Wands in reverse is also a, good omen as it relates to love in general, especially for those of you involved with or interested in someone older. I mean, with the king, some people might say an older man, but I'm man, woman, doesn't really matter. Someone older who is like a youthful type of person, though. Like they're older, but they're a youthful type, like energetic and fiery. It's a really positive sign with regard to your relationship with them. And again, it's sitting here atop the Queen of Arrows, who, if she is a Gemini, and she's sitting here on top of this red blanket, so that's like fire too. She is that, or if she's a mutable sign in general, Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo, those are, youthful like forever. Even when we're old, we're still that type. So it can be like that type of person too. And this can also be representative of, again, another way of illustrating the Scorpio masculine and Gemini feminine, or water masculine, and well, it's particularly Scorpio because with the Mars, the fire. But the air doesn't have to be specifically Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, maybe with a Scorpio too. And outcome. Judgment in reverse. I also like Judgment as it relates to soulmate relationships, and it's sitting here next to the Six of Cups. This is one of the cards that when the Judgment card is there with that, the Lovers too, then to me it's like, okay, this is the real deal, but we may need to be a little bit patient, like I said about a couple of these cards, before everything falls into place, because there's still like some stuff. But don't let it get you to where you think it's not going to work out. Major Arcana card Judgment does represent the planet Pluto for me in the sign of Scorpio yet again. And as it relates to relationships, it's where, we've come to like this crossroad and we got to decide where do we go from here, if anywhere. And based on these cards, it looks like we're moving forward confidently. So I'm happy about this. Now, for a perspective more so like from the universe, I'm beginning with work. I finished that on 3113. Opening to fun times. I didn't even realize I was working on that spread so long. Work and karma. Karma. One more, dating queen. Again, the party of three potentially. Or like a three of fire kind of energy, which isn't bad as it relates to love, karma, and fun times again. So on that note, I will cut. And it's blonde female, which is my representation of the divine feminine in this deck. Because she's not blonde, she's a redhead. She's fiery. She's, like the Queen of Wands, or at least the Knight. She looks younger than the Queen. Overall energy this week is karma. Divine being or couple. Recent past. Masculine's higher self. Near future. Blocks to the union. What the feminine can do. What the masculine can do. Further advice from the universe that with which it will support us fully, but we have to first affirm to it, just like the last spread, and the outcome. Divine couple of being family. I love this. So it's a very positive, like a three of cups, perhaps, and getting together with people, maybe visiting because of the holiday. The Thanksgiving in the United States also does fall within this week. People, family may be getting together, or at least getting in contact, and that can include mates. Recent past, money. This could have been realizing one's value or worth or deservingness, but also a little bit more literal and connected to the energy of earth signs and putting in effort so that we can reap rewards, sort of like the Eight of Earth of Pentacles. And also for me can be connected specifically to like the energy of Capricorn and Saturn and feeling stuck. Near future. Oh boy, it's a different kind of three. It's triangle. But I think we just saw some of that in the last spread. Like I saw and felt and hope that I expressed where I was feeling there could be in some places some involvement and some things that we have to work through as individuals rather than together. Especially with the King of Wands, I felt that. Masculine's higher self, fun time. So I like that. It's still like a return to the surface, right? The end of that period of death and, coming back to life and rebirth. There's three fingers up in the air. So it's like another three. We got a three here, three here, three here. So all of which can be parties of three. But this one also giving me like Three of Cups kind of energy and being social, getting out there. Maybe if you are single, masculine, it's a good time, yes, to go ahead and get out there and, you know, spend some time around other people so that you can meet, enjoying yourself. This can be maybe this is the last of the Scorpios celebrating some birthdays. I didn't do the dice today. I forgot the dice. Maybe I'll stick them in somewhere else, but it could be that. Happy birthday to anybody who is celebrating. And this can be also connected again to the family and the getting together with family, perhaps over the Thanksgiving holiday. My mother calls it misgivings, but we still get together anyway, even though she'd rather, you know, we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving. Blocks. Freedom. So sitting here next to money, which I said can be connected to, for me, Capricorn and Saturn and that restrictive energy, block has been the inability to, you know, to break free and do what you want, which is, again, what I was feeling with that King of Wands card more so than any of the others, where as individuals, we got to be able to fly like those two birds and do what we want and pursue our passions without being worried about what other people think or, you know, would have us do, or how they're impacted, how they may feel. Like, they'll get over it, you know, and that's what the universe is trying to tell us. Like, they'll get over it, but you're not getting over it. You keep trying to ignore your own feelings and ignore your own desire and need for freedom, and it's not working. You are not getting over it. So despite your family, which it mirrors here, perhaps, and it could be your family, despite whatever they feel or think, you need to look out for you right now. And so crossing the triangle, again, one of those situations can come up, whether it is, you know, like another mate, you know, somebody that you're dealing with romantically, a friend, a family member. Something could come up in the near future where, you know, we might have to bump heads, or it's that Seven of Wands that showed up. Defending your decision and your beliefs and your desires and not worrying about what this third person has to say. What the feminine can do other than that, all right, there may be a pause, a break, even short-term heartache, potentially, drama, argument, discord, debate, maybe because of Mercury retrograde. Again, it's in the same position where the Page of Swords in reverse was. So it also can be like a reminder too, to watch what you say, or, you know, like, use your words carefully, choose your words carefully, mean what you say what you mean. Because we're dealing with Sagittarius. So here's another like heart shape. We just saw the heart shape arrows on that card. Here's another heart shape here. This one's broken. This can also be about delay, which I would also connect to Mercury retrograde. So I think that again showed up. I saw that there would be a need for individuals to handle different things going in their life, but they're still, while they're doing that, they're still, you know, on course for the union, and they're doing it because of the union, right? They know that there's some things they have to finish. So that's what the patience that I mentioned was about. That's why it's necessary. The masculine, what can and he do? All right, destiny. This is moving forward. This is allowing without trying to control, like the opening message suggested, the card that I read from Isis, her oracle, basically said, like, going with the flow without trying to control it, what's happening. That's what he's going to have to do. Stop trying to fight, again, your need, desire, destiny to be free. And just let it happen. And what the universe would have the two do. This is like a replica of the other spread, just with different cards, right? Here's gossip. So it can be, we're dealing with actual gossip, drama, again, discord. It's mirroring the short-term heartbreak or delay or, you know, break. But again, I think it's as individuals, us having to deal with whatever situation has been blocking us from this freedom, or whatever situation or person, family member, friend, other relationship. So that's what this is representing here too. And the outcome, boom. Wasn't this the outcome last week as well? I think so. I think this may have been the outcome last week too. So no need to worry. Just work. And you know what? How perfectly did that go with our overall energy of karma? It's basically like, again, what's meant to happen is going to. What's meant for you will be for you. It does require us to exercise some free will choices sometimes, and to make decisions and to take action. And this week is one of those weeks. So I'm going to do another spread beginning with the Ace of Summer. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or the awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. Open to the Nine of Summer. So our dreams are coming true, right? Now's the time, yes, when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. Ace of Summer and the Three of Autumn. Your most satisfying and profitable career, I'm going to say relationship, comes from following your passions. That's what I said about the King, right? Listening to your heart and doing what brings you joy, right? Not other people. Your life purpose or your love life and everything is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and your feelings, your true self, most importantly, to shine forth out into the world. Three of Autumn, and here's the Seven of Winter, where somebody's trying to instead steal your joy. Caution will help you to avoid the loss of valuables, including non-material resources such as time or peace of mind. Be aware of the results of your actions as well as what others might be doing behind your back. Like trying to cost you abundance that you've earned. And here's the Princess of Winter yet again. Another page of swords. Logical, truthful, curious, and undiplomatic. This is an intellectual challenge that calls upon your ability to think of a matching solution. If helpful information is put to you bluntly, accept the message without being bothered by the messenger. Three of Autumn. And it's the Four of Autumn. At least we made a nice progression. Be cautious about living a life of extremes or seeing things in black and white terms. Consider, for example, whether you're spending too much versus hoarding your wealth. Or here's what's important for the love reading, I think. Or giving too much emotionally versus building up walls that keep people out, like not giving enough. I think that's what a lot of us have been doing because we've been fearful about, again, what outside source, people, influences would have us do. Overall energy is the Eight of Summer. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. I think we've seen that throughout the reading this far. Either way, you're in control. Move these over a little bit. All right. Masculine, crowning the masculine. It's the Ace of Spring. A wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may have come as a surprise, but you'll still want to leap into action and to passionately pursue every possibility. So this too goes with that King of Wands and what I was feeling about that. Like you need to passionately pursue what you want. And I love the two tigers together here in this picture. There's a pair and there's a castle off in the distance. Like maybe this is where they could go off together later. Things worked out. Because last week, one of the cards, the Ace of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. The Rider-Waite Tarot. And I was saying there's something in the distance, like for us. I think this is it again. surrounding the masculine, major arcana card, Justice, upright. Fair decisions will be made after all the evidence is received impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. So could be working out things. For some, this could be like the end of a situation, like a relationship, maybe even legal end to it, like divorce is something too. Major Arcana card 8 or Justice represents the planet Venus, who showed up in our last reading as the Queen of Swords, and the sign of Libra specifically, which she rules, although she is also a ruler of Gemini. Masculine subconscious, the 6 of Spring, very nice. You may receive a promotion, be chosen for a scholarship, or find out that you're being singled out for special recognition. You've done an amazing job and you deserve all the attention. So this is like your ships coming in, you being recognized, you being rewarded. Like it's just your time, masculine. You deserve this new opportunity, a fresh start. Crowning the feminine. Major Arcana card 15 or Ego, the Devil. You may feel that you're trapped in a situation, but that's not true. Be careful not to overly focus upon material wealth and to break free of negative thinking. So this could be definitely attached to like that same energy of money from the last spread that I was talking about. That I said it gives me Capricorn feels, right? Saturn feels. That's what I meant. Surrounding the feminine is that 7 of Spring again, like this energy to keep going and to fight back. Be assertive, believe in yourself, and don't let anyone take away your personal power, right? Don't let everyone steal your joy. Trust that your inner guidance is true and follow it completely. Feminine subconscious, the 6 of Summer could become an important part of your life, or people from your childhood may return to it. Old memories can be healed, or possibly old childhood dreams are ready to be revived. So this could be somebody coming back. It's mirroring the Ace of Spring. This could be a new opportunity. This could be meeting somebody new. Also, again, for those who are single. Crowning. Here's the 0 I've been talking about. Major Arcana card 0, the Dreamer, or the Fool in the traditional tarot. More butterflies too. So again, fresh start, transformation, out with that old life and, circumstance or whatever and into a new one. You are starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. There's the freedom again too. Run free. At the root, the 9 of Autumn. Your success has brought you financial security and the reward of much deserved time off to enjoy your own company. You may suddenly have a brilliant idea for a business or self-employment opportunity, and that will be very successful. We have this 9 of Autumn, who could easily be somebody who's newly single, crossing Justice. Again, possibly an end of a relationship for a masculine, but the beginning of a new one, a really good one, right? One that's going to make him very happy, one about which he's extremely passionate. And it's like he's being rewarded, with real love, with true love. The outcome of the last spread. At the heart of the matter, the 9 of Spring yet again. You've worked hard and what you've created is impressive and worthy of protecting. Annoying challenges may pop up, but don't worry. You'll get through them just as you have in the past. I am going for the masculine to clarify Justice. Let's see what that may be for maybe a majority. And for the feminine, the Devil. So I'll give these as our advice. And from here, I'll look for the next upright card. So this is it. It is to clarify Justice. The 8 of Spring. It's another 8. All right, Major Arcana card Justice is number 8. And now this is the 8 of Spring. You've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. While this may feel very stressful, remember to be grateful for the blessings that heaven is sending you. I love that. I'll get into it a little deeper in a second. All right, so this is upside down. As is this. This is the next upright card for the feminine to clarify the Devil. And it's the Princess of Spring. Creative opportunities that you feel passionate about are fluttering your way. Personal growth and broadened horizons will spark fresh and original ideas. The Princess of Spring may be an actual person in your life. Could be your own energy. Wait a minute. And didn't the Princess of Spring? Oh no, that was the King of Spring, the King of Wands. Princess of Spring is energetic. That's what I was thinking about. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't the Princess of Spring just show up? Because I was thinking about an energetic person. Remember I said somebody who's like youthful and energetic could be with whom you end up. So maybe you've been fighting it, feminine, some of you, because this man is older than you. And you've like, that's not going to work. So you're guided to still go with it. He's energetic, outgoing, optimistic, and creative. And possibly with the Princess of Spring clarifying it, maybe even a Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. Maybe more butterfly, maybe a Scorpio too. Helping you to move away from that stuck energy. But yeah, I want to clarify for the masculine a little more, not clarify, talk a little more about these 2 8s he's got, which I love. And I really feel that what they're saying is the same thing that the other spread said. And I just want to point out that there's also another 8 here, right? So it's like 3 8s that the masculine is working with. 8 is a very karmic number. Karma was the overall energy of our last spread. And the masculine's card in that spread of what he was to do was just destiny. Remember, it was just a hand up. And I think that that's what these 2 cards together are saying. Like, just, again, don't force it. Don't try to control it. Things are finally happening, and let them. Masculine, let them. Don't stand in your own way. Block your own opportunity. Let it come through to you. It can also, of course, be connected to communication. Justice, again, represents the sign of Libra, which is an air sign. Air signs are about communication, as can be the 8 of Spring. Not only about things going on behind the scenes, but about communication and contacting one another. So it can be that too. And I think even in that case where you do that, it will be, it's positive. I've never gotten a negative feeling from the 8 of Wands, like never, ever, ever. I'm not sure it's possible too. So put these back. We've got our advice cards from that deck. Also, from the healing angels, the angel therapy cards, rather, beginning with be willing to forgive, which I think I may have started with last week as well. Ask the angels to clear your mind and body of any past pain in exchange for peacefulness instead. Right. And open into crown chakra. Pay attention to your ideas as they are messages for true divine guidance sent in answer to your prayers. Crown chakra. And singing and dancing, express yourself and awaken your psychic senses through the magical power of music and movement. So this is like that going out card, the socializing cards that turned up here. The 3 of Cups type cards, that's another one. Crown chakra. And, all right, I'm sort of open to 2 here. God box. Write any worries, concerns, or desires on a piece of paper that you put into a special container called a God box as a way of letting go and allowing the divine to help you. This could be connected to the full moon in Gemini, because sometimes I write stuff down and to release it, right? So I don't repeat those patterns after the new moon. I let them go with the moon. Some of you may wish to do that. And also opening to sacral chakra, you are highly sensitive to chemicals, additives, processed foods, and energies right now. Respect your sensitivities by avoiding harsh items, situations, and relationships. Crown chakra. And cut your cords. Ask Archangel Michael to clear any old attachments to fear that stem from past relationships, and that will free you from destructive patterns. Overall energy is mediumship. You have the natural ability to connect with departed loved ones. And I did mention this week also, Neptune goes direct. Of course, I talk about that in the general, not in the actual general reading, but in a prelude to the general reading. I just separated all my talk from the actual tarot reading. I talk about Neptune going direct, at which point I believe people who had experienced heightened psychic abilities and awareness, that will go back to normal once Neptune is direct. So that can be like right now, this week, you're still in this period of particular mediumship. And we should be taking advantage of those energies. That's why I keep trying to encourage people to get any readings or energy healing that they like. Not that any time isn't always, a great time to get it. I just feel that this period has been optimum. Because again, the veil is the thinnest, and that's acknowledged all over the world, different cultures all over the world, celebrating the dead right now, celebrating light over dark, good over evil. The Hebrew month, the whole Hebrew month is focused on that, is about that. And then we have, all the very intense spiritual energy this week too, in addition to these very strong celestial transits. I had 3 women without any influence from me, contact me this week and beginning with Friday with regard to purchasing divine light cleanses for their masculine. So I think the universe or God is moving their hand toward these sort of things, and I'm so happy. Because again, not only do I think it's a great time, I love seeing the support of the masculine right now, and it made me feel a certain kind of way, like, ooh, look what the universe is doing. Like, I wonder what's next. I wonder what's coming next. I don't know either. Like, why is it having these women come forward and seek energy healing? So I posted also about that today, that I'd love to see more. I'm so excited about it and so happy to see it. I'm going to get some advice also from they're like Egyptian Sibylla cards. And this one, I'm beginning with the goddess Nut, which is funny because, again, it's my mother's birthday today. And my mother's nickname is Neat. I talk about that in that prelude too. So very similar to Nut, of course. And here we have like a cornucopia of like foods and stuff, a couple of random things. The cornucopia, of course, is connecting to me for, again, Thanksgiving, celebration, spending time with family, fortune, good fortune. And I like the black cat too. Reminds me of my cat that I no longer have, that I had as a child, my childhood cat. Midnight, loved her. And there's like a crane or something here also. She's got all this water. There's the full moon behind her. I'm going to take her as a water sign. That Nut is a Scorpio, perhaps, like my mother, Neat, is a Scorpio. This card, when it shows up, it is about good fortune, and could be like a sudden turn of events, similar to the Wheel of Fortune, like, where you hadn't had it before. Suddenly things are going your way and you're coming into abundance. So we can look forward to that. Opening to the Two of Hearts. Five of Clubs. The King of Hearts. Five of Clubs. The Eight of Clubs, which is a young couple, like reuniting, getting back together. You see where we have been dark, the clouds are moving away and the sun is emerging. Light over dark. Good over evil. Union over separation. And it's another 8. It's another 8. Actually, when you're reading playing cards as opposed to tarot cards, clubs do represent the suit of wands. And so it's like another 8 of wands in a way too, that we have right here. One more. And it's the 8 of Hearts. How awesome is that? It's the 8 of Hearts. And here we have a woman looking fondly on this statue of, it looks kind of Horus-like, but I'm going to say it's Osiris, since this is Osiris's week in time. She's got an ankh in her hand too. That's all about fertility and newness, and again, new starts, new life. Maybe resurrection, rebirth. So she's looking fondly. Eight of clubs. I'm going to cut. And it's the Jack of Diamonds. This man has a very important message in his hand and he looks like he wants to deliver. This is coming through very Mercury and Sagittarius, right? With all the air, the white that he's wearing, the whiteness of the scroll itself, the fact that it's a scroll, there's a communication that's very important. And then he's got this huge, red dress blowing in the wind, in the air. So very Mercury for me. I'm like, what else did I use? I did use other decks, so I gotta get one from there too. Uh-oh. All right, so that card, I laid that card as I was holding the deck like this, but that wasn't correct because our overall energy was death in reverse. So I should have been holding it like this. So I'm gonna give the masculine another card also, and then here's for us. And hashtag creepy deck. Didn't take one from there. All right, so from that deck to the masculine, passion. How very clear has the masculine's guidance been this week? Or what? Seriously, this is the message he's gotten since the first spread about following his passions and sort of just letting it happen organically. I love it. For the feminine, from that same deck, boom, twin flame. Is this going to be a fiery week or what? I'm going to do angel therapy first because the Lover's Path Tarot, if say it's major arcana, we may want to read from the book for those. From the angel therapy cards for the masculine, ascended masters, powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teachers are watching and guiding you. So you're not alone. Whoa, feminine, boom. The answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. We're 2 for 2. From the animal tarot to the masculine. The Six of Autumn. Your success and prosperity have allowed you to pay off debts, acquire wise loans, or to receive a grant or scholarship in return for heaven's blessings. So even other stuff as it relates to love and things too. Everything, all of heaven's blessing that you receive. Be sure to share the wealth and do that through donations of time, money, or reputable charities. Or your love, right? Without agenda, without forcing it, without being fake. Just let it happen organically. Again, unconditional love. Feminine for us. The Magician, major arcana card, the Magician. There is magic in the air and you can manifest everything you need in order to be successful. The Magician represents the planet, the sign of Gemini for me, but also the other mutable signs also too, I'll attribute it to sometimes. So like Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo, and well, that's it, us. There's only 4. Gemini first and foremost, because yes, we not only are we mutable, but we're sort of like mutable squared, right? Mutable to the second power with the twin energy. So you can, anything you need, desire in order to move forward, you can bring it toward you with this. All right, so the masculine's first Lover's Path Tarot card is the 9 of Arrows in reverse. Okay, wait. See, I keep doing that to myself. I was about to be like, womp womp. But you know what? That's good because it's like the worry also falling away, similar to all the negative emotions and cords of attachment and other feelings that weren't good. And it's also, but these arrows facing away from the feminine and pointing towards somebody else with whom he may have a relationship that is bogus, really. Like the person might be like good at like telling you what you want to hear. It could be like a liar, a cheater, or whatever. So that's a possibility. But again, I guess more, I don't want to say more importantly than that, but the other reason, and that probably affects more people, is that this worry falling away. Feminine. No, since he has two, let me do his other one first. So the masculine's second card, it's the Eight of Arrows, also falling away. So when the Eight of Arrows is upright, right, this is the card that makes us feel like we're stuck, similar to the Capricorn and Saturn energy that showed up in the other spreads. He's not stuck anymore. Again, that is falling away. And, you know, he can look up and say, oh, you know what? I'm not surrounded by anything anymore. I can get out of this. Although he should have been able to realize that that he could just stand up here and walk out of this little path. We're not going to fault him for not having realized it, as long as he realizes it now. For the feminine, our card is also in reverse, and it is, I'm so happy. I'll tell you in a minute why. It is Major Arcana card. In this deck, it's called Power, but it's the Emperor in reverse. And some of you might be saying, why are you happy that the Emperor is in reverse? Well, in this deck, I'm happy that the Emperor is in reverse. I don't like this MF. When it's upright, Arthur and Guinevere are pictured. And anybody that knows the story of King Arthur knows that Guinevere was in love with Sir Lancelot, not King Arthur. King Arthur used his power to force her to be with him. I talked about this before earlier in the reading. Not forcing anything, not forcing anybody, not being like a Queen of Swords in reverse. All right. The Emperor, of course, represents the signs of Scorpio and Aries and the planet Mars. Mars, the planet of action that can be an aggression, so it can be overwhelming sometimes. And he used his overwhelming influence to force Guinevere into marriage when she was in love with somebody else. So I don't like that. And I like when it's in reverse and, you know, people are doing what they want to do instead and not being controlled. Normally the Emperor upright, somebody having it could be like we're in control of our own lives. But I'm happy that it's in reverse here for us. I may read that one too for us from the book. But we've got these. Okay, the honor reversals here. This, I like this very much for the masculine. It is the 10 of clubs upright. And if you can, just by looking at the picture, I'm sure you can get an idea of what this card is about. There's a butterfly bothering a lion, only the lion is unbothered, right? The lion could easily swat this butterfly and that'd be the end of the butterfly's days, but he's not. They're able to have a nice, pleasant moment there. So I'll read from the book what that means further. Of course, lions, and this card, a very strength-like card, or strength-looking card, and it is the suit of clubs, which I mentioned before, represents wands or fire, which Leo and lion is. This would represent, you know, Leo and fire signs for me, fire sign energy. And for the feminine, it is the 6 of spades. Spades in playing cards represent the suit of air. And this card is about letting go of any regret, like letting that be water under the bridge and letting it pass by. So this is kind of like a 6 of air kind of card. We can look at it, especially with the boat. It's reminiscent of the traditional 6 of air in the tarot. 10 of clubs, or what they call lightness, Lighthness. I like that. Butterfly by a sleeping lion. Lightness of heart and spirit. Seduction and harmony between sexes or different persons. Traveling the world as a butterfly would is a tour de force that only fools would mistake for villainy. Cheerfulness and the seductive scent of pleasure envelop everyone sooner or later. White lies and unfaithfulness are possible. So, excuse me, I felt that and mentioned that a minute ago with the 9 of swords, that somebody could be a liar, a cheater. And I would say that it's not this relationship. It is another one. Not necessarily romantic. It's somebody else though, that whoever third party or third energy is getting in the way. Further advice from this card. It's very useful in these times of great heaviness to know that we might find ourselves crushed by heaviness in the future too. That will be the time to remember lightness, like moments like this. and the lightness of the 10 of clubs. To remove the laden cloak, to run, like to be free, but without undue excesses or lack or moderation. So like I said, this is a Sabila deck, and I think it's translated, from another language. And so it's a little funny in English, but it sounds like what they were saying, like preserve this feeling and remember it, lean on it later in the future if something comes up. And you may have something in the near future based on the second spread that I did with the drama and the short-term heartbreak for the feminine, the temporary delay or break, and then based on these cards too. And there was something over here, right? No, this is positive. This is communication again. Maybe specifically from an air sign, and even more specific to that, a Libra. Communication. All right, the feminine's card, the 6 of Spades. 6 of Spades, sighs, a woman and her regrets, anxiety, and often useless worry, clarifications necessary, even if hurtful, and urgent developments of stagnant situations. Those who wish to stop sighing must stand up and courageously take a new path in spite of personal and social conveniences. The key word is courage. Further advice, read again the first part of this card. Reread it carefully, especially the advice regarding courage. Courage isn't something that you can give yourself, says a popular Italian saying. Well, the cards say the exact opposite. In other words, courage can be created from nothing at any moment, including something like this. Like you can just pull it out of your pocket from, a time past. So we're both working with the same kind of energy. But also I think that this may be connected to not only this Princess of Spring or Page of Wands and Devil, but to go back to the King of Wands from the last spread, I said for some, it had to do with maybe, again, an older person, older mate who was energetic. That's just one difference. There could be some other kind of differences. And what this card is saying is to not, because of those differences, like don't let those differences get in the way of your happiness. And then years later, you're looking back on the time and being regretful that you didn't take the opportunity for love. But also the Emperor in reverse can also be about that sort of thing. It can be about not, before when I read it, I was talking about like specific to this deck, what I was feeling. But in general, the Emperor in reverse can be like, you are the methodical type, right? Maybe like the practical type, let's just say. And you've fallen for somebody who is the opposite, who's not the methodical, not the practical type, who's sort of like, by the seat of their pants and whimsical, like a mutable sign. Somebody I was had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and she's an earth sign, a Capricorn, as a matter of fact. And, she was talking about how nobody can, hold a Capricorn down. And I was like, you guys are already down. You're grounded. That's what it means to be earth. Because we were talking about like verses, or in verses or in comparison to air. I'm like, air by virtue of the element cannot be held down. That right? Air is, it lifts, it's up, it's all around. You can't, I'm going to grab this air and keep it here. It's impossible. So somebody like that, that's just like a totally free spirit, and that's not your style, or vice versa, right? Maybe you're the total free spirit and the other person is somebody more reserved, grounded, practical, methodical. And you're wondering, or some other difference that you might let get in your way if you try to control the situation, which again, the Emperor can be about. So instead, let your hair down and just go with the flow. And if you've had questions about it, That's why the angel showed up to say the answer involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. The reason it hasn't made sense and you haven't been able to figure it out is because it's a totally different and new thing. And similar to the masculine, what the masculine's been told the whole reading, sort of just go with the flow instead. Yeah, to recap, masculine, you may be getting some communication, or you may be making a communication to somebody. Your spirits and energy, and especially as it relates to love and relationships, should be super positive this week and high. And, there should be something, you should expect the unexpected and in a positive way as it relates to love too. And you may receive contact specifically from an air sign, even more specific to that, from a Libra. All this fire person may very, very well be a Leo or a Sagittarius. Leo, you may be having some sort of situation between you and an earth sign, maybe more specifically a Capricorn. Well, I said Leo, I meant Sag also, or any fire sign, but especially those two. Actually, all the fire signs, because again, here goes the Emperor, and the Emperor represents the sign of Aries. So there's your other fire. And Scorpio is the only water that has really turned up. It's to be specific to the sign, what may go on with them this week. I guess water can experience something too, maybe with somebody of one of these traits of the other signs that have shown up. But again, it's going to be most specifically Scorpio, and of the air signs, most specifically Libra and Gemini. I hope you guys all enjoy this energy, enjoy your week. I'll be back with the Gemini full moon reading. Namaste, angels. Geez, I forgot to remind you that if you liked the video, like you enjoyed it, please actually like the video on YouTube. It is paying off. They just recently gave me the new privilege to post pictures and videos and things in a thread and feed on YouTube. So it's working. And of course, we had been welcomed a few weeks ago to be participatory in their pilot program for the premieres. So some of us have been enjoying that. I look forward to catching up with more of you. I keep playing with the times of different times of day when I premiere the videos, so I can, see who's around, see who's available, and try to settle on some times that are best than the future you can expect it. Like, okay, the Queen's going to post the love reading at, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or whatever, So we'll continue to check and see what times, play with it, see what times seem to be best. If you're not yet a subscriber, please do hit the subscribe button. And then further to that, the bell button. If you already are a subscriber and you haven't been getting your notifications, because so many of you have not, please check your subscription and make sure that, it's still checked off. It still says you're a subscriber, and that the settings are still as you wanted them, where you're supposed to be able to expect to get notifications from me. If you want a reading from me or energy healing from me, again, I think that this week, as have been the past several, is optimum. Super, super, super optimum up to the 24th, which is the last day of this reading. That's the day that Neptune goes direct. And after that, I think that the energy around us as far as psychic awareness and ability will be back to normal. I expect to still have mine because I've had it all my life, but I mean in general. What else? I guess that's it. Okay, now I can go. Enjoy. I'll be back soon. Bye.